People are afraid of you, not consciously, but something about how you move through the world makes them defensive, guarded, and suspicious. You've probably noticed it. The way conversations shift when you enter a room, the way people edit themselves around you, the way they react when your predictions prove unnervingly accurate. If you're an INFJ, you've lived this your entire life, watching people pull back from something they can't name about you. They sense there's something different about how your brain works, but they can't put their finger on it. They feel unsettled by your ability to see patterns they miss, to predict outcomes they never saw coming, and to respond strategically when they're still figuring out the rules. You know that feeling when you instantly sense the tension nobody's talking about, or when you predict exactly how a conversation will unfold, 3 moves ahead while everyone else stumbles through it blind. What you might not realize is how threatening that feels to everyone else. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand the 3 core brain differences that make people unconsciously defensive around INFJs. We're talking about pattern recognition that reconstructs entire behavioral timelines, future simulation that runs multiple scenarios in real time, and strategic response mechanisms that bypass conventional thinking entirely. Before we start, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss any of our weekly deep dives into the world of personality types. And if you're looking for a deeper understanding of yourself and your INFJ personality, browse our favorite INFJ products in the description and click the link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test, the Pattern Recognition Advantage. Your brain doesn't just notice details, it deconstructs entire social ecosystems while others are still reading surface expressions. Where most people process information in neat linear sequences, your mind runs parallel streams, simultaneously analyzing tone, body language, microexpressions, and environmental shifts all at once. Neuroscience shows INFJ temporal lobes demonstrate up to 40% faster processing of subliminal social cues. That means, while someone else is registering that a person seems upset, you've already mapped their stress triggers, identified the source conflict, and predicted their next 3 responses. It's not magic, it's your brain operating like a social supercomputer. This shows up in those moments when you reconstruct entire behavioral timelines from fragments. Someone mentions they had coffee with a friend and you instantly know the friend is going through a breakup, feeling insecure about their career, and probably asked for advice they won't take. People call this overthinking, but you're actually seeing patterns they can't access. Your mirror neuron system amplifies this advantage by turning emotional detection into physical sensations. When someone near you feels anxious, your body registers that anxiety as muscle tension or stomach discomfort before your conscious mind identifies what's happening. This gives you real-time feedback about emotional states others completely miss. The social cost is heavy though. You see what people try to hide, and that makes them uncomfortable. When you casually mention someone seems stressed and they haven't told anyone, they start wondering what else you can see. They begin editing themselves around you, which creates distance even when you're trying to help. Most people rely on explicit verbal communication to understand social dynamics. You're reading the subtext, the power structures, the unspoken agreements, and the emotional undercurrents that actually drive behavior. This gives you strategic advantages in negotiations, relationships, and conflict resolution, but it also makes you seem unnaturally perceptive to people who think they're hiding their true thoughts. Your brain cross-references current situations with stored patterns from past experiences, creating those sudden insights that feel like downloading information from nowhere. What others experience as your mysterious intuition is actually rapid pattern, matching happening below conscious awareness. Your mind sorts through thousands of behavioral data points, finds the matching template and presents you with the most likely outcome. The accuracy of these predictions often startles people. When you warn someone about a person they are dating and it plays out exactly as you described, they start viewing you as either psychic or threatening. Neither explanation feels good, but both reactions stem from the same source. They can't replicate your pattern recognition process, so it seems impossible. This creates a lonely dynamic where your most valuable insights are often dismissed as paranoia or overthinking until they prove correct. Then people either credit luck or start keeping their distance because they don't want someone around who sees too much. The pattern recognition advantage feeds into something even more unsettling for others, the way your brain doesn't just see current patterns, but projects them forward into detailed future scenarios, running full-scale simulations while others are still processing what's happening right now. The future simulation system. While most people think one step ahead, your default mode network runs full-scale scenario modeling in real time. Your prefrontal cortex lights up during prospective memory tasks, showing activation patterns that neuroscience links to advanced timeline projection. You're not just planning, you're living through multiple possible futures simultaneously, testing each one for emotional resonance and logical consistency. This shows up when you meet someone new and instantly see 3 different relationship trajectories, or when you start a new job and already know which colleagues will clash, which projects will fail, and where the company is headed in 2 years. Your brain doesn't just imagine possibilities, it constructs detailed simulations complete with dialogue, emotional beats, and consequence chains. What makes this unsettling for others is the accuracy. When you casually mention that someone's new business venture won't work because they haven't considered market saturation, and 6 months later, they're shutting down, people start wondering how you knew. They didn't see you analyzing their business model, customer research, and financial projections in real time during casual conversation. Your hippocampus works overtime during these future projections, rehearsing events before they unfold. This is why you often experience déjà vu or feel like you've already lived through situations as they happen. Your brain literally practiced these scenarios multiple times before reality caught up with your simulations. The isolation comes from carrying knowledge others aren't ready to accept. When you see a friend's relationship heading toward disaster and try to offer gentle warnings, they often interpret your concern as negativity or jealousy. They can't see the timeline you're tracking, where small incompatibilities compound into major conflicts, so your foresight feels like unwanted pessimism. People dismiss INFJ predictions as overthinking because they can't access the simulation process. They see you considering variables they haven't noticed yet, so your conclusions seem to come from nowhere. When you explain that someone's career change will backfire because they're running from internal issues rather than toward genuine interest, they hear judgment instead of pattern recognition. Your brain runs these simulations automatically during downtime, which is why you often seem distracted or lost in thought. While others see empty moments, you're processing probability trees, testing different approaches, and identifying potential problems before they manifest. This constant future modeling is mentally exhausting, but it's also your greatest strategic advantage. The temporal displacement can be disorienting. You're often emotionally responding to futures that haven't happened yet, while others are still processing current events. This creates a gap where your reactions seem disproportionate because you're responding to implications they can't see yet. Most people plan by extending current conditions forward. You simulate by modeling how underlying forces will reshape everything. This gives you uncanny accuracy in predicting relationship outcomes, career trajectories, and social dynamics, but it also means you're often preparing for problems others won't recognize until they're already happening. The prophetic quality of INFJ warnings makes people uncomfortable because it suggests a level of insight they can't match or understand. When your predictions consistently prove correct, they start viewing you as either unnaturally gifted or somehow manipulating outcomes, which creates suspicion even when you're trying to help. The strategic response mechanism. But the most threatening aspect isn't what INFJs see, it's how they respond. Your brain integrates convergent and divergent thinking, simultaneously allowing you to solve problems through approaches that bypass conventional logic entirely. While others follow step-by-step reasoning, you leap directly to solutions through pattern synthesis that feels like magic to linear thinkers. This shows up in your ability to reframe entire conflicts by identifying the real issue underneath surface disagreements. When others are arguing about symptoms, you address root causes, which often resolves problems they thought were unsolvable. Your solutions frequently surprise people because you've redefined the problem itself rather than just finding better answers to the wrong questions. Your authenticity detection makes deception impossible around you. Your anterior cingulate cortex automatically cross-references verbal content with micro-expressions, vocal patterns, and behavioral consistency, flagging inconsistencies before conscious awareness catches up. People sense this even when they can't articulate it, which is why they feel exposed or uncomfortable trying to manipulate you. The combination of pattern recognition, future simulation, and strategic thinking creates responses that seem impossibly sophisticated to people operating from single perspective frameworks. When you navigate complex social situations by addressing multiple stakeholder needs simultaneously while others are still picking sides, you appear to be playing a different game entirely. This creates a perceived social threat because your usual tactics don't work around you. People who rely on emotional manipulation, social pressure, or information control find their strategies ineffective against someone who sees the underlying dynamics and responds to deeper patterns rather than surface presentations. The fear others feel stems from recognizing that you're operating from advantages they can't replicate or counter. Your strategic responses reveal the limitations of their own thinking, which triggers defensive reactions even when you're not trying to compete or dominate. Your INFJ brain differences create strategic advantages others can't match or understand. The pattern recognition that reconstructs social timelines, the future simulation that models multiple scenarios, and the strategic responses that bypass conventional thinking explain why people feel unconsciously threatened even when you're trying to help. This isn't about superiority, it's about cognitive differences that create social friction. Understanding these mechanisms helps explain the pushback, isolation, and misunderstanding INFJs experience throughout their lives. Click the link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test and subscribe for more insights into INFJ psychology and strategic thinking. If you want to continue the journey to understanding yourself or an INFJ in your life, click either of the following videos where we continue to unlock the secrets of the INFJ personality type.